Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We are passionate about helping people with business and accounting. In today's video, I am going to break down the new PPP application specifically for second-time borrowers. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So I haven't had a chance to take a look at this application before recording this video. So this is going to be more of a first impressions, breakdown, walk you through, let's look at it together type video. So let's head over to the computer and see what we need to provide or what the SBA is wanting us in order to get a second draw PPP loan. All right, so the first box is basically wanting you to select your business organization structure. So if you're a sole proprietor, you would select that. If your business is a partnership, you would select that. C Corp, S Corp, LLC, independent contractor, self-employed, 501c3s, 501c6, 501c19s, tribal business or other, and then you need to specify what other business you are. If your business has a DBA or a trade name, you would put that there. The year your business was established, your business legal name, your NAICS code. So this code you'll find on your tax return. So in this box here, so if you're a Schedule C filer, so if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, then if you go to this box B, you'll find the code there. So when I looked, so I pulled up the instructions for you guys. This is the instructions. So if you look up here, the instructions for Schedule C filers, this principal, business, or professional activity code is actually, if you look here, it says these 6-digit codes are based on the North American Industry Classification System. So NAICS codes. So here's the breakdown of the codes. And if you remember from this previous video that I did, that code 72. So if I go to 72, right here, accommodations and services, these codes get more PPP funding. So they get 3.5 months of PPP funding. So that's why they want to know what code you are. So let's go back to the application. So that's NAICS code. And then you're going to do your business address. Then we're going to put in the either business TIN number, EIN number, or social security number if you are an independent contractor. You're going to put in your business phone number, the primary contact, the email address. All right, now we're going to get into the average monthly payroll. So you're going to put in your average monthly payroll amount there. Then you're going to multiply that by 2.5 or 3.5 if your NAICS code is 72. Equals loan requested amount. So you cannot exceed 2 million. So basically average monthly payroll multiplied by 2.5%. That's going to give you your loan amount. Then they want to know the number of employees, and you cannot exceed 300. So that's going to go there. And then they want to know what are you saying the purpose of the loan is going to be. So if it's just payroll costs, put that there. If it's rent or mortgage interest, you would put that there. Utilities, covered expenditures, covered property damages, covered supplier costs, covered worker protection expenditures, or other, and you need to explain. And again, check out this video for a breakdown of all of these covered expenses. They also want to know your PPP first draw SBA loan number. So you're going to put that in that box. Then they're asking for reductions in gross receipts of at least 25%. Applicants for loans of $150,000 or less may leave this blank, but must provide upon or before seeking loan forgiveness or upon SBA request. So if you're anticipating of getting less than $150,000, you don't have to fill this in. However, they're saying that when you go to apply for forgiveness, you're going to have to provide that information. So what you would do here is you would put a 2020 quarter, so whether it be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or I'm assuming you can just put 2020 if you're going to look at the entire year, and you're going to reference it to the other quarters, so Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or if this was me, if I was referencing the whole year, I would just put 2019. And then what was the gross receipts for that year compared to the other? If you're getting value out of this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a big thumbs up. List all owners of 20% or more of the equity of the applicant. Attach a separate sheet if necessary. So if there's more than two, attach a separate sheet. Now they're asking us questions. So question number 1 is the applicant or any owner of the applicant presently suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, voluntary, excluded from participation in this transaction by the federal department or agency, or presently involved in any bankruptcy? So if any of these apply, you would select either yes or no. Number 2, has the applicant, any owner of the applicant, or any business owned or controlled by any of them ever obtained a direct or guaranteed loan from the SBA or any other federal agency that is A, currently delinquent, or B, has defaulted in the last 7 years and caused a loss to the government? So you would select yes or no. Number 3, is the applicant or any owner of the applicant an owner of any other business or have common management, including a management agreement with any other business? If yes, list all such business, including their TINs if available, and describe the relationship on a separate sheet identified in Addendum A. Number 4, is the applicant, if an individual or any individual owning 20% or more of the equity of the applicants presently incarcerated or for any felony presently subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction. So they want you to initial here to confirm your response. And then you say yes or no. Within the last 5 years, for any felony involving fraud, bribery, embezzlement, or a false statement in a loan application or an application for federal financial assistance, or within the last year for any other felony, has the applicant, if an individual or an owner of the applicant, 1, been convicted, 2, pleaded guilty, 3, pleaded nolo contendere, or 4, commenced any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? Initial here, yes or no. Number 6, is the United States the principal place of residence for all employees included in the application's payroll calculation? Number 7, is the applicant a franchise? Number 8, is the franchise listed in SBA's franchise directory? If yes, enter SBA's franchise identifier code here. All right, so that is a lot of questions that they're asking. All right, so that is different from the original loan application for sure, especially number 6, where it asks about, are all of the employees basically principal place of business the United States? All right, so let's go to the next form. And it says Paycheck Protection Second Draw Borrower Application Form. So you have to certify all of these things. Now, I'm not going to read every single one of these. It's a lot to get through. But basically, you're just certifying you've read the statements, you're providing accurate information. Basically what you're saying above in your application is true. And then they want you to initial all of this, which is a lot. Wow. And then you're going to sign and date. And then what's here? Looks like they've provided instructions for completing this form. It's all in one document. So let's see. Is there anything we need to cover here? So they talk about purpose of the loan. So they're saying payroll costs consist of compensation to employees whose principal place of residence is in the United States in form of wages, salaries, commissions, or similar compensation. So similar compensation can be tips or equivalent based on employer records of past tips, or in the absence of such records, a reasonable good faith employer estimate of such tips. Payments for vacation, parental, family, medical, or sick leave, except those paid leave amounts for which a credit is allowed under this section. Allowance for separation or dismissal. Payment for the provision of employee benefits. And then for the purpose of calculating the average monthly payroll, most applicants will use the average monthly payroll for 2019 or 2020. Excluding cost over $100,000 on an annualized basis as prorated for the period during which the payments are made or the obligation to make the payments is incurred for each employee. For seasonal businesses, if the applicant may... I don't need to breathe right now. For seasonal businesses, the applicant may elect to instead use average total monthly payroll for any 12-week period selected by the applicant between February 2019 and February 20, excluding cost over $100,000 on an annualized basis as prorated for the period during which the payments were made or the obligation to make the payments incurred for each employee. So for new businesses without 12 months that were in operation on February 15th. So if you were in business on February 15th, then you can still use the average monthly cost for the remainder of the year. For farmers and ranchers that operate as sole proprietors or independent contractors, or who are eligible self-employed individuals and report farm income or expenses on Schedule F or equivalent, payroll costs are computed using eligible payroll costs for employees, if any, plus the lesser of $100,000 and the difference between gross income and any eligible payroll cost for employees, as reported on Schedule F. For applicants that file 1040 Schedule C, payroll costs are computed using line 31 net profit amount limited to $100,000. So if you're a self-employed individual or if you are a single member LLC, you would file a Schedule C. And in order for you to determine what you would be eligible for PPP, you would just need to take line 31. Plus, if you have employees, you would add those costs in as well. So partnerships. So if you operate as a partnership, payroll costs are computed using net earnings from self-employment of individual general partners as reported on your 1065-K1, reduced by Section 179 expense deduction claim, unreimbursed partnership expenses claimed, and the depletion claimed of oil and gas properties, multiplied by 0.9235, that is not more than $100,000 plus any eligible payroll costs for employees. In determining whether the applicant experienced at least a 25% reduction in gross receipts for loans above $150,000, the applicant must identify the 2020 quarter meeting. This requirement identifies the reference quarter and states the gross receipt amount for both quarters, as well as provided supporting documentation. For loans of $150,000 and below, these fields are not required, and the applicant must certify that the applicant has met the 25% gross reduction at the time of the application. However, upon or before seeking loan forgiveness, the applicant must provide documentation that identifies the 2020 quarter meeting this requirement. And then they get into what defines gross receipts. So basically, and I covered this in my other video, basically whatever source, including sales of products, services, interest, dividend, rent, royalties, commission, reduced by returns and allowances. So for purposes of reporting the number of employees, this was a big deal in the first round of PPP. Sole proprietors, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors should include themselves. So you should include themselves as employees. The minimum number in box employees is 1. For NAICS 72 or eligible new organization, applicants must not exceed 300 per physical location. For purposes of reporting, year of established, self-employed, or independent contractors may enter NA. For purposes of reporting NAICS code, applicants must match the business activity code provided on the IRS income tax filing. So I showed you how to find that on a 1040 at the beginning of this video. All parties listed below are considered owners of the applicant as well as principals. For a sole proprietorship, the sole proprietor. For a partnership, all general partners and all limited partners owning 20% or more of the equity in the firm. For corporations, all owners of 20% or more in the corporation. For limited liability companies, all members owning 20% or more of the company, and any trustor if the applicant is owned by a trust. And they have some disclosures, some acts, and then demographic information, and then some definitions, and that's it. All right, guys, so we have successfully gone through Form 2483 SD, and it's really not that difficult to complete. I think it's very straightforward, very easy to understand. And especially if you've already been through this first round, you kind of know what to expect as far as documentation. They do have added questions that they've added, and then the certifications we had to certify in the last time we applied for forgiveness. So I don't really think this is a form that is too complicated to fill out. I think it's very straightforward. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.